everyone, how are you guys? Welcome to my first story time chit chat with me, like a sit down video, even though I'm standing here in my new apartment. I am so excited, and you guys can probably tell, but if you haven't checked out my moving day vlog or my home goods haul, check that out as well. Those went up earlier this week, and I really kind of just wanted to come on and say hi to you guys because those were filmed before and I want this to be a little bit more real time. I also need to put a disclaimer. I hate that I always have to do disclaimers, but there's just gonna be several people out there that are going to rip me apart on certain things, but huge disclaimer. This video is completely my opinion, my own thoughts. I'm not right, I'm not wrong. This is just what I think and believe, and a lot of people don't agree with me, and a lot of people do. So please take this entire video with a grain of salt. This is just my life, and I'm sharing it with you. Now, before we get into the actual video, I do want to welcome anybody that's new to my channel to subscribe. I would really appreciate if you guys enjoy my content. Dating videos are still going to be a thing, so if you like my dating videos, they will be coming, I think next week I'm gonna do one. Sorry, I keep touching my hair. I'm slowly settling into my apartment, so the dating videos are coming next week, but I would really appreciate it if you guys subscribed, hit the notification bell so you guys know when I post, and I'm trying to get back onto my normal posting schedule, so fingers crossed. I hope I can do it. Also, please like this video if you guys enjoy these chit chat story times. A lot of you guys have told me that you guys like when I just talk, so today's a talking video. I am very casual. I'm literally in my just like home workout clothes. I'm in my sweatpants as well. I have slippers on, and I'm in my kitchen. So yeah, how much more casual can we get, right? Now let's get on to the actual video. All right, the most common question I have gotten since I moved was, why did I move? And you guys are probably like, Jerlyn, why is this video so long? It could just be like a quick answer. But for me, this is something that I wanted to do for myself. I kind of wanted to, you know, say it out loud, explain it to you guys, because I feel like if I just answered someone's question, there would be so much back and forth on, you know, opinions. They don't agree with me or they do agree with me, and I figured a whole video explaining everything would be the best. And I know a lot of you guys are curious as to what's going on in my life, or even, you know, my past and all of that. So we're going to kind of dive into that today. Now, I have a notebook with literally notes on here. I have like 2.5 pages of notes, almost 3 pages of notes. So if you guys see me looking down, that's why. I don't script my videos. Oh, I just spit. That wasn't scripted. I don't script them, I just write down notes so I can make sure I hit every point that I want to get across to you. So before I tell you guys why I had to move, I want to give you a little recap because I feel like some of you guys might be new to my channel, and if you are, welcome. Thank you for watching. If you're coming from my dating videos or anything like that, thank you for stopping by and getting to know me a little bit more. And yeah, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Jerlyn. I am 27 years old, and I just moved into this apartment, my new apartment by myself here in Philadelphia. Now, a lot of you guys might know this already, but again, these are for all the new people that are coming here. Previously, I was living with my best friend, Stephanie, and if you guys watch my vlogs, she has been in several vlogs. So if you've been watching me for a while, you guys know who Stephanie is, and she is one of my best friends, and I've known her for 5 or 6 years, and we lived together for about 1.5 years. Now, just so you also have an idea of my entire living situation throughout my 27 years of life, before I lived with Stephanie, I lived with my mom for about 4 or 5 months, and then before that, I lived with a boyfriend at the time, so now an ex-boyfriend out in New Jersey. And then before that, I was in, you know, college and, you know, living with roommates and all of that. So that's kind of the recap of my living situation, just so you have an idea. Okay, oh my gosh, I haven't done just like a chit chat with me in a while, and it's like, nerve-wracking. And this place is, okay, it's not a complete mess, but I have literally like hair extensions everywhere. Like, I was trying out these hair extensions. I got hair extensions from Irresistible Me, and I've been trying them out, and they actually match my hair perfectly, and they are long, you guys. Look how long this is. So even my longtime subscribers, I've gotten messages from a lot of you guys saying that, you know, you've been watching me since 2009, 2010, and, you know, seeing me go through all these life changes it's very different. A lot of people do not put their entire life out on the internet, and it is different. Yeah, so I appreciate all of those who have been with me since 2008 or 2010. You guys are the true rock stars. Thank you guys so much. But even those longtime subscribers, I don't think you guys know much about my childhood and my life. So we're going to kind of track back a little bit more into my childhood and kind of recap that really quick, because again, it kind of sets the tone and it kind of helps you understand why I, you know, am how I am. All right, a little bit of background on my family and my childhood. My parents were not born in America, so my brother and I are first generation here for our family. And you know, not being born in America and coming to a country and not knowing the language and trying to find work is very difficult. And so we grew up in the suburbs of Pennsylvania. And by the time I was about 9, I believe, I could be wrong. When I was around 9, my parents had divorced. So for the majority of my life, I was raised by a single mom. And let me just tell you, she is a freaking queen. She, you know, raised my brother and I. We both went to college. You know, she worked all the time. And you know, she had to work because she was a single mom. And just because someone is a single mom doesn't mean that, you know, you grow up poor. We were not poor. I would probably have to say, if I had to classify where we were as a family, I would probably say we were like lower middle class. I wouldn't even say we were middle class. So lower middle class is kind of how I grew up. And with that being said, you know, being a one income household, there was not a lot of residual income. So, you know, my mom wasn't able to give us every single thing that we wanted. She gave us as much as she could, which was very sufficient because I turned out okay. But, you know, growing up as a child and seeing, you know, your friends get all these, you know, new cool things and stuff like that, and going on all these like family vacations, I never had that growing up, which I'm not complaining. I'm just completely just stating, you know, my childhood. So I never really experienced family vacations, and I've never had my own bike type of thing. So with all of that said, you guys can probably guess I started working at a very young age. I probably started working when I was like 14 or 15 or something like that. It definitely really shaped me into the person that I am today and how my mind works. So again, I just wanted to preface all of this to you guys before getting into the actual reasoning as to why I had to move to this beautiful apartment, and I'm so excited. A lot of you guys probably think this is like not that cute, but this is more than I could have ever imagined for myself, and I'm ecstatic. Now, if you think about it, when you grow up with that sort of childhood, it's not anything that you think is wrong or that you think is so different, because it's all you know. That's all I knew. All I knew was that, you know, my mom works hard, I gotta work hard if I want something, because, you know, my mom had to, you know, feed us, and she had to work sometimes overtime, a lot of overtime. And it was kind of embedded in my mind, even throughout college, that I was gonna have to work throughout college. I worked 2 part-time jobs, and I had an internship, and I went to school full-time. So it's just, you know, things play out differently for everybody because everyone has such a different childhood and all that. But like, this is, again, this is my story, this is my opinion and my thoughts. So getting into the college years are the best years because you feel like an adult, but then again, you're still kind of a kid. Now, as you guys can probably guess, when you're in college, you meet so many people, like tons of people who are probably not in your life anymore, and some that are still in your life. And it's the same case for me. Towards the end of my senior year, you know, a lot of my girlfriends and I wouldn't go out anymore. We would just like sit at home, you know, hang out and just do like girl talk. And I remember specifically this one time, it was me and a couple of my roommates and some friends, and we were sitting there and we're just like, you know, where do you want to work? Like, do you like your internship? You know, what do you want to do? And a lot of the girls that I was hanging out with at the time, they were like, you know, I hope to meet a guy, and, you know, hopefully he has a decent job, and then, you know, I could just, you know, have kids, and we'll have a family, and I'll be a stay-at-home mom, and I'll be able to raise the kids and kind of like, you know, follow my dreams and do what I want. And I remember specifically sitting there as everyone's just like talking, and they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, and, you know, I'm gonna work for a little bit, but hopefully I just meet someone, and you know, it kind of goes from there. And I was sitting there and I remember just like being very quiet because I was like, what? Like I couldn't grasp that idea and I couldn't grasp what they were saying. And it was just something that I've never experienced. And I'm like, wait, they just want to like graduate and just kind of like try to find a guy? Like it was like, it just wasn't something that I ever heard. And I know I'm gonna get ripped apart by some of you out there because you guys are gonna be like, you know, being a stay-at-home mom is, you know, hard, which I am not disagreeing with you. I am not saying that at all. Being a stay-at-home mom is probably one of the most difficult jobs out there. And if I'm being honest, I think it's a blessing if you are able to stay at home and raise your kids and, you know, have a family. I think that is the most beautiful thing anyone could ever have. And I envy all of those people. I know some of those people. A lot of my girlfriends are stay-at-home moms now, and you know, sometimes it's rough because you're always at home, and then, you know, sometimes it's great because, you know, you don't have to deal with like work and like other things going on. You kind of just focus on your family, which again, a beautiful thing. Growing a family is not easy. It is hard. It's a lot of work. So I'm not downplaying that at all. Just at the time when I was in college and I'm hearing all of my girlfriends say this, it was so foreign to me. And I quickly realized, I'm sorry if you guys can hear some sirens. I live in the city, so if you can hear the sirens, I'm sorry. But it was just really foreign to me. And then I quickly realized like their childhood and their upbringing was nothing like mine. You know, a lot of my girlfriends, their parents have been together for 30, 40 years, and you know, their mom was a stay-at-home mom. So I understood why they wanted that for themselves because that's what they grew up with. And a lot of times that's how people function. Like I grew up with a brother, and I hope if I have children one day that I will have a boy and a girl. So, you know, that it can be like a brother-sister duo, kind of like how my brother and I are. So I understand it. And at the time I was, you know, I was in college, so I was like, what? But then I realized, I'm just like, oh, that's because that's how their childhood was. That's how they grew up. They grew up with their mom staying at home and being with them all the time. And it's a beautiful thing. Again, I'm not putting that down. It's, I wish I could do that. And I hope to one day be at that point. But for me, it's not something that I could relate to because my mom worked all the time. Now, after college, I graduated and I moved out to New Jersey with now an ex-boyfriend. And I think that was a huge learning experience for me. And when we broke up and I moved back to Pennsylvania, I promised myself that that when the time came and when I was financially stable and when it could happen, that I would move out on my own and live on my own for either a year or a couple years or until I find a boyfriend. So I made that promise to myself after living in New Jersey. And this was always something that I wanted to do, was to live on my own for a while, because growing up with a single mom and watching how hard she had to work, I needed to prove to myself that if I was ever in a predicament like getting divorced or being alone, I wanted to know for sure that I could support myself with no one's help, you know, no help from my mom, my brother, any man at all. I wanted to know that I could do it on my own, and that is something that's very important to me. So that is actually one big reason as to why I had to move. A lot of you guys have also been asking about Stephanie, and you know, is she like moving as well? So my best friend Stephanie, who I was living with before, she's actually still living in the apartment. So I moved into this apartment by myself and we are still friends, you guys. Another reason why I had to move, again, reasons for myself only. You know, I loved living with Stephanie. We got along so well and it was a good dynamic in that apartment when I lived with her. But I realized after like a year and a half being there that I was getting very content in where I was, and I started to feel like I was plateauing. And when I get content, I kind of just do the same things every day. I don't really change things up because everything is fine. Again, content with where I'm at. And it just clicked to me one day where it's like, you know, I have all these goals and I'm not hitting these marks that I've wanted to hit. And the only way for me, again, this is how I function, this is how my mind works. The only way for me to really get out of this like stagnant part of my life or phase of my life was to change my surroundings. And again, that is another reason why I had to move, because if I would have stayed with Stephanie, again, love her, you know, we would have been, you know, happy probably for another few years living together, but I would have been in the same place. And again, I know you can just change your mindset and all of that, but for me, I knew I had to change my surroundings. And that is why, you know, I'm here. That's why I moved. So I hope that answers everyone's questions as to why I had to move and what's going on with everything else. But this way you guys get to know me a little bit more as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason why. And I don't really know what else to say or how to end this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this nonetheless. I hope I answered your questions. If you have more questions, leave them down below in the comments and I can get to them as soon as I can. But yeah, I am so excited to be here, and I hope you guys are excited as well, you know, to go on this journey with me. And I can't wait to show you guys my new apartment. Again, this is a 1-bedroom loft apartment, so it's nothing big or crazy, but it was a huge step for me, and this is a huge part of my journey, and I'm just so excited. All right, so I'm gonna stop blabbing because this video is really long already. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell if you have yet to. Follow me on Instagram as well. I have an Instagram that I'm active on daily, so if you want to keep up with me on the daily, go check that out. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. More videos coming next week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.